The NFL really screwed this up, and they usually don't. They usually get this right. This game is going to be in London. So this is a 9 a.m. game.
Oh Lord!
And over there in London or whatever. This needs to be because this needs to be in Miami or Kansas City, and this needs to be a primetime game, either 8 o'clock Sunday or Monday night.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
This game of the
Chiefs and
year.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Like, this is a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, you give the London the Jaguars, the Raiders.
Jaguars
you give
are
them
2-0 in London.
You give them,
The Jaguars are unbeatable.
Chicago
in
Bears.
London.
We got a big game coming up this weekend.
Do we?
Yeah. You watch the NFL at all, Eway?
Yeah, of course.
Who's your team in NFL?
You
I ain't
have a
lying.
team?
In NFL, I'm a bandwagon, but I typically go with the Chiefs though. I'm a diehard Gator fan though for
You
sure.
my Chiefs brother, you my Gator brother.
All right,
I
say
knew
less,
something about you. Man.
You guys are just some incestuous motherfuckers.
So this weekend we
Might
have.
need to step back.
Seminole talk, gotta be.
Oh, how you know, man?
It just sounds like a Seminole. It just gotta be.
A Seminole alumni. We have Mahomes and the Chiefs taking on Tyreek and the Dolphins, man. And first of all, the NFL really screwed this up, and they usually don't. They usually get this right. This game is going to be in London. So this is a 9 a.m. game.
Oh Lord!
And over there in London or whatever. This needs to be because this needs to be in Miami or Kansas City, and this needs to be a primetime game, either 8 o'clock Sunday or Monday night.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
This game of the
Chiefs and
year.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Like, this is a huge fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, you give the London the Jaguars, the Raiders.
Jaguars
you give
are
them
2-0 in London.
You give them, the fucking
The Jaguars are unbeatable.
Chicago
in
Bears.
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
London don't give the Bears back.
You give them something like that.
No, well, I mean, honestly, this is actually pretty cool to have a marquee game, two teams at this level playing abroad. Be great for the international audience.
I gotta wake up at 8:30 for this shit, man. It's a
wake up at
Saturday. It's a
8:45.
Saturday.
I'm watching highlights. I can't do it.
You don't have to comb your hair. I mean,
Come on, man. Try to get things done on a Saturday night, man. And
then be resilient and bounce back. Wait, you just one round and go pass out? See you guys afternoon on Sunday?
that's the way to go, man.
That's the old man way to go.
Coach said, "Go Dolphins." Yeah, he's a Dolphins guy. And the Dolphins, of course, number one offense in the league. They're looking crazy against the bad teams, right? They have yet to defeat a team with a winning record this year. All right, and what a time to do it because the Chiefs are coming off a bad loss to the Broncos. Of course, their offense just doesn't look the same. Just not enough receiving help. And last game, Mahomes was technically sick. Who knows how much of that is? Looks like the offense was slowly eroding as the weeks went by. Anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
so what do you guys think? Think the Dolphins can sneak one in here?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's a toss-up as a game. I mean, I'm not sure. If the Chiefs' offense has some legitimate structural problems, it'll be a tough one. Chiefs' defense has been pretty good all year, so I mean, they should be able to put up some resistance against the Miami offense.
It's like when you got Pat Mahomes, you can't necessarily count him out. So it's like you said, it's a 50-50 touring cost, man.
Yeah. Again, with really great teams and great performers like Pat Mahomes, you expect to see a reaction this week. When you play a stinker like you did, you expect a reaction. So I would be shocked if they didn't play pretty well. And again, if they do and they win, this further puts the substance that Miami can't beat a good team.
Yeah.
That's what's at play here. Are the Chiefs really in some sort of funk where things just aren't going well and they're deteriorating offensively, or do they kind of bounce back and show that the Dolphins are just a team that can only beat bad teams? That's the dynamic. How that plays out, I don't know, but why not do it in London?
I think the Dolphins really, really need this game. I don't think you can lose to a somewhat the most struggling Chiefs team we've seen in years, right? And a damn sure can't be a stinker, right? But I don't think you can lose this game at all. Your confidence is just really shot, right? Because you lose against every good team, and
it becomes an albatross.
Yeah, it does, man. And up here on the screen, I have the Chiefs are leading the league in drop passes, right? And these are just open like pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are not contested catches are not included, and just leading the league at 18 there, man. Their receivers, because they're relying on a bunch of young guys and guys who are like Tony, who was just given away by the Giants, right? And he had a fucking awful game, that game one against the Lions, where he was just dropping every fucking open pass there was to drop. You know what I mean? I could have did a lot better than that. Probably I'm going to run a little slower.
Quite a bit
A
slower.
lot slower. Yeah, a lot.
Quite a bit.
But yeah, man.
I don't know. I mean, like, again, you look at this, like, internally you could look and say the Chiefs offense has not been performing optimally this year, saddled by the drop passes. You could also look at it and say, prior to this past week, they're still 6-1, and the only loss was to a Detroit team that's pretty darn good. And so, like, things aren't all that wrong with the Chiefs. But last week kind of gives you pause because Denver's not very good. And the Chiefs just couldn't get out of their own way. And again, the Dolphins, at the end of the day, they're 6-2. They lost to the Eagles, who I really think both sides of the ball might be the most talented team in the league across the board. And then they lost to the Bills, which, again, the Bills are kind of erratic, and so it's not terrible. But then the backside narrative is this Chiefs team feels weak. It feels more vulnerable than the others. And the Dolphins have this issue, like, okay, if we accept the 2 losses, you haven't beaten anybody. It's all narrative. That's why you got to play the game. That's why I don't really like talking too much about games that haven't occurred. It's pretty limited what you could say. You come up with storylines, and then, this brings up the time when I spit on the TV in the NCAA final of 1988. Because it was Oklahoma against Danny Manning in Kansas. And this is why I hate storylines. The game was playing out. At one point, Oklahoma, who had been the dominant team of the year, was kind of winning. And Brent Musburger's there telling us, this is the great Oklahoma team, blah, 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 blah. And then late in the game, it took a turn, and Kansas took the lead, and they were kind of the Cinderella story, and had one of those like cancer kids who was like a mascot of the team. And they go to commercial, Kansas in the lead, and Brent Musburger's like blowing the little kid. And I just jumped off the couch and spit on the TV. I was just disgusted. And it was like I hate narratives. Like, there's a game happening. Watch the game, analyze the game that's happening, and stop with all the cancer kids and goofy narratives.
Tyreek also they asked him about him leaving the Chiefs or whatever, but he said his plan was to never leave the Chiefs. His agent actually, Rosenhaus, I'm 90% sure.
Drew Rosenhaus.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He told Drew, he's like, hey man, do what you got to do on this contract negotiation, but just know I don't want to leave the Chiefs, because Tyreek was saying how they had just lost to the Bengals in that conference final, and that all those guys kept talking in the locker room how they wanted revenge that next season.
Run it back.
Yeah, he wanted to run it back, so they definitely wanted to run it back and get that done against the Bengals. And so when it came down to it, they got really close. It's just on the guaranteed money. The Chiefs, kind of just short-armed them there on the guaranteed money. But they were kind of good everywhere else. And so then Drew was like, hey, we just need to get what you're worth. I think this is a low ball offer, so to speak. So, and that's when the whole Miami thing opened up. Is that something you think the Chiefs will regret, or is that one Super Bowl enough? That's kind of what the conversation is at too now.
To me, the Chiefs have already regretted losing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, they're not the same team,
even with the Super Bowl victory.
Yeah, I mean that you can still win. They're good enough to win. That's great. They won a Super Bowl. But like, would you look the way Tyreek Hill plays, and he's in his prime, and you're the best quarterback on the earth, and you don't have that weapon, and you had him, you have lost.
Yeah,
that is a loss. We can't fathom what the Chiefs would look like with him playing like this.
Right.
That's crazy to me. It's a huge loss. You could be so much more dynamic with that type of player.
Yeah, they just don't win the same either. So yeah they definitely miss Tyreek.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't like stories like this. Like, you're telling me, you wanted revenge, you wanted to be a Dolphin, and then Drew Rosenhaus whispers in your ear, and suddenly you're in Miami. Like, Be a guy of character if that's what you wanted, or just don't tell the story. Yeah, like what are we supposed to get out of that story? That you're basically a soft, lying sack of shit. Like whatever direction the wind blows, I'm gonna go there. You want to be Joe Smith's next wife? I mean, this is a joke, man.
No,
Just shut up. Just say at the end of the day, I did what's best for me, and it's the Dolphins, and I'm happy to be here, and I will always look back fondly on my time as a Chief.
Yeah, if you're Tyreek though, you gotta leave to go get the money.
That's fine, but don't tell us this story.
Yeah.
I hate when people say unnecessary stuff.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
I thought it was, especially like we're so far removed from it now.
Yeah,
you know.
But they haven't played, have they? Since he's been there, is this the first time they're playing?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I was just gonna
I'm
ask.
not sure if they played last year.
The last year, I would say I don't think Tyreek was there.
Yeah,
Tyreek was in Miami, but I don't know if they
the
played.
Chiefs-
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I suspect the fact that this story's even come up is that it's the
because
first
it's the
time that
first
they've
time.
played, and granted they're probably asking a million different questions, but dude, just don't say it.
Yeah.
You just, to me, it's a bad look. If I'm not gonna ever say, oh, I told my agent I want to be a Chief, hell or high water, and bang, he put the Vulcan mind meld on me and sent me to Miami. Like, come on, it's a bad look.
Yeah.
You got to watch what you say. Like you can lose just a lot of credibility and character on dumb stuff that you might say.
Mm-hmm.
So, being that there isn't really a ton of quarterbacks kind of like leading that league in that MVP race, leading the way in the MVP race, could this be a year where like they're talking about A.J. Brown could maybe sneak in a MVP or Tyreek?
I don't think
if Tyreek break a record.
I don't think either one of those guys gets MVP.
I think a defensive player get it this year.
Or a defensive player.
I don't think that either. I think quarterback's going to get it. I think we're in the middle of the year and people are looking for stuff to talk about, and it seems like an okay thing to talk about.
Well, then who? Pat Mahomes? That's the only thing I can think of.
No, Pat-
Lamar has been playing pretty good.
But
Not MVP good, though.
But the MVP, forget that. Like, here's the deal: the MVP is probably going to be won in the last 4 or 5 weeks of the regular season. Who's playing at?
Yeah, that's true.
peak
That's
at
true.
that
Yeah,
time?
yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
and it's probably going to fall to a quarterback.
That's crunch time too. So yeah, I agree. I agree.
And that's closer to when they vote. Like, nobody remembers like, oh, in week 8 I was on the A.J. Brown thing. Like, again, if let's say Lamar just has one of those years and the Ravens
or
are,
Tyreek though. I'm not gonna lie, Tyreek good too though.
they might. I still feel there's a strong quarterback bias, and that the MVP is likely going to be decided in that final month of the year. And what do these numbers look like?
Yeah. I 1000% don't believe AJ could do it, but it's an outside chance Tyreek could do it just because he's gonna, if he stays on pace, he's gonna break the record for receiving yards in the season and all that good stuff. And
for a non-quarterback to win, it would take like a historically great
of course.
statistically. So you have that.
Yeah, that's the only thing. So I think that's what gives him that outside chance. But yeah. All right. Once again, you guys are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pig, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're available on all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff.